What's your reaction to the justice that he nominated today?
I'm honestly not surprised by his choice, but that's just worse for us.
I just saw the pic and I was like, it's almost at a point where you kind of expect that it's not going to be what you want.
I see it all over the news that like he's like racist and shit.
He's quite, extreme in his views.
This new nominee is very racist.
And so what reaction have you seen on social media today after the news?
Oh, outrage, as it should be.
His entire cabinet and everyone he's chosen has been the white supremacist Legion of Doom, and it's dangerous to everyone who looks like me.
And you feel like the Supreme Court nominee today kind of falls in that same line?
Of course. They should all wear white hoods and burn crosses at the Capitol, because that's exactly the move. That's what they're going for.
Who, in your mind, should pay for all of the free things?
All of the free things? Well, some of it should come from taxes, but the government should pay for it.
But the government is funded by taxes.
Yeah.
How are we going to pay for those?
Oh, God. I mean...
Us,
I guess.
Yeah.
I'm liberal. I don't know exactly where I stand, but I know democratic socialist is better than conservative. It's just better than, it's the better option.
In what way?
When I think of it, I just think of more open-minded people that aren't as economically conserved.
How would you view what socialism is, though? Economically, what is socialism?
Economically, So, I'm going to think about that for a second.
A lot more accessible to a lot more people, and that's kind of how I see it, being more accessible and more kind of equal ground. Yeah.
What does that mean necessarily, though?
To be quite honest, I don't know.
I guess just specifically getting rid of that wealth gap in the United States.
I mean, honestly, that definition gets thrown around a lot. I'm not exactly sure.
How would you define what fascism is?
I don't know.
Okay. How would you define fascism?
It's not an easy thing to define.
How would you define fascism?
I don't really want to get into all of that history and
stuff. Does that mean you can't define it, though?
I don't want to talk about it right now.
Fascist ideas.
And how would you define fascism? How would you define what fascism is? All right. I see the word Nazi punks, F off, but fascism, what is fascism?
I don't want to commit to any sort of definition, maybe.
It's a serious thing, though, to call someone a Nazi and a fascist, but you have to know what it is, though, if you're going to call him that.
And I think that guy's a Nazi.
Tell me what a Nazi and a fascist is, though.
Yeah, I don't want to answer any more questions. Thanks.
It's a serious term to level. No free speech if you're a fascist, and apparently everyone's a fascist, so what kind of guns would you like to see banned?
Just assault rifles.
Who would support the ban of assault weapons moving forward? Okay, so 5 out of 5. For banning an assault weapon, do you know what an assault weapon is?
Yeah, it's assault weapon. It's I kind of do, but kind of don't.
Okay.
It's just
What is an assault weapon?
Can any of you tell me what an assault weapon is?
I guess. But assault weapons, does that sound safe to you?
The same amount of people die by assault weapons as do car crashes in a given year.
As what?
Do car crashes. It's a similar number.
Okay. It's not actually, but...
Or isn't it similar?
No, it's not. So assault weapons count for about 3% of gun deaths, and car crashes are about the leading cause.
Okay, I thought that was... But a lot of people die by gun deaths.
The main idea of socialism being that people at the top are doing their fair share to help people at the bottom. So on campus, if there's a GPA disparity where there's people at the bottom with a poor GPA, would you support a policy where people at the top spread the wealth and give that GPA to people at the bottom?
Help them get a better GPA?
Yeah.
I'm all for helping. I wouldn't give let me just give you some of my points.
But it's about being fair, right? We got to help people at the bottom.
It's hard. I guess it would be kind of hypocritical for me to say no.
That's completely different.
How is it different?
Because I'm studying all day for my grade.
What do you mean by sharing it? Like literally, like giving them a chunk of my GPA?
Yep.
Dang.
I would want to say no, straight up.
But what's the difference between earning a high GPA and not wanting to give it away, but then earning a lot of money and also not wanting to give that away?
Well, I feel like the difference is that you study for your grades, right? And grades often reflect how much time you spend studying. But
You gotta work pretty hard to become a millionaire.
I mean, I'm not denying that fact either, but for the regular working person,
We are a nation of laws. Undocumented workers broke our laws, and I believe they must be held accountable, especially those who may be dangerous. What's your thought on that quote and that policy in general?
I think that policy comes from a place of like white American nationalism. Donald Trump has kind of like embraced this rhetoric of like racism and xenophobia that is not beneficial to our country at all.
I don't think that quote really stands true.
This administration has totally not done anything moral.
This is really awful.
I'm going to show you the person that said that quote. Is that surprising?
Yeah, a little bit.
Why is that surprising?
Because I thought it was the Trump administration that said something like that.
Yeah, it's quite surprising. I thought it was from Trump.
I didn't expect it to be Obama either.
Why did you not expect it to be Obama?
Because I guess, I don't know, like, it never occurred to me that it could be Obama.
Is that surprising that it's a quote from President Obama?
Yeah, that was surprising for sure, yeah.
Do you think it's still a practice of white nationalism, though, to deport criminal illegal aliens?
I think the way Trump's doing it is.
Okay. But President Obama, to this point in Trump's presidency, Obama actually deported more people, though. So it's, in practice, it was more from Obama, though.
What's your question?
Everyone would be required, it would be mandatory to go on the government plan.
Okay.
So if you had no plan or if you had a private plan that you liked, you would be kicked off of that. So about 70 million people would be kicked off of their private plans and forced onto the government
Would
one.
you have to pay for it?
Yes, so taxes will go up.
You would still have to pay for it? I don't support that.
Do you think President Trump should be impeached?
I think he should be impeached.
he definitely has done enough things to be impeached.
Do you think President Trump should be impeached?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think he should.
Is there anything that comes to mind specifically that you would say that's why he should be impeached?
I don't know if I can say any specific type of event or specific action.
I'm sure there's reasons that I don't know of, but I've not had seen one certain reason to impeach him.
What do you think is an impeachable offense he's committed?
Well, I'm not that into politics. I don't really pay that much attention to it, but I think just the fact that he's trying to run immigrants out of the country.
What would you view as a specific instance of saying this is an impeachable offense?
Honestly, I think it's a lot of just how popular he is. And so even though you're so popular and popping right now, it's not good for America. That's what I believe.